In a kingdom surrounded by high mountains and deep rivers, young Prince Aric lived a life of comfort. But when his father, King Alderon, died suddenly, the crown passed onto his head at just 20 years of age. The coronation was grand, yet beneath the shining crown, Aric felt only fear. The kingdom was weak, enemies circled like vultures, famine was spreading, and bandits terrorized villages. That night, looking over the distant fires of struggling villages, he whispered, "I am not ready, but I cannot walk away." When his rival king invaded, Aric gathered his army with pride. But pride is not strategy. His generals disagreed, his men lacked discipline, and the young king had no battlefield wisdom. The result was devastating. His army fell, villages were destroyed, and the rival king mocked him. Aric sat alone in his broken armor, his heart full of shame. He almost abandoned the crown, but he remembered his father's words. A king is not measured by how many times he stands tall, but by how many times he rises after falling. Aric clenched his fist and swore, "I will rise. I will learn. I will fight again." Determined, Aric disguised himself as a commoner and walked among his people. He learned how farmers dug the soil, how merchants bargained, how blacksmiths shaped steel. He saw their struggles, their hopes, and their resilience. For the first time, he realized, a kingdom is not built on thrones or gold, but on the sweat of its people. Years later, he returned to his throne wiser. He passed fair laws, punished corruption, and protected the weak. He built schools, supported farmers, and created unity. Slowly, the people began to respect him, not from fear, but from love. Peace was short-lived. A terrible drought struck. Rivers dried, fields turned to dust, and hunger spread across the land. Advisors urged him to raise taxes, but Aric refused. Instead, he sold his treasures, his crown jewels, golden statues, even family heirlooms, to buy food. So he went into the fields himself. For weeks, he labored under the scorching sun, digging wells alongside farmers, lifting stones, and carrying water. His royal hands blistered, but he did not stop. When the people saw their king laboring like them, hope returned. They worked harder, shared what little they had, and endured. United, they survived the famine. Just as the land began to heal, Aric's old rival returned, stronger than ever. The kingdom trembled, remembering the past defeat. But Aric was no longer the same boy. He was a man tempered by loss, wisdom, and resilience. He rallied his people, not with promises of wealth, but with words of courage. We do not fight for gold or power. We fight for our homes, our families, and our freedom. Stand with me, and together we shall not fall. The people roared in unity. The enemy came in thunderous waves. Arrows darkened the sky, swords clashed, and blood stained the earth. But Aric's soldiers fought fiercely, fueled by loyalty and love for their king. At the height of battle, Aric faced his old rival in single combat. Steel rang against steel, sparks flying as the two kings clashed. The rival mocked him. "You were the boy I defeated once. You will fall again." Aric's eyes burned with fire. "I am no longer that boy. I am the man who refuses to stay down." With one final strike, Aric defeated his rival. The enemy army broke and fled. The kingdom was saved. Years later, when Aric grew old, his grandchildren asked him the secret of his greatness. He smiled and said, "I was never the strongest warrior, nor the wisest scholar. I was simply a man who refused to remain on the ground when life struck me down." That is the secret of kings, and of all who wish to rise. Under his reign, the kingdom flourished. Generations remembered him not only as a king, but as a symbol of resilience and hope. Life will test you with defeat, pain, and despair. You may feel unworthy or broken. But true greatness lies not in never falling. It lies in rising every time you fall.